entitled The Way Out. The way out is the way in. You who have been given so much understanding still live too much in the outer physical realm, giving too much of your energy and what you call time to pampering your physical self. This may sound a bit stern tonight, but I tell you, if you are to make the transition from the physical to the higher dimension, you need to give as much attention to reaching the spiritual insight to the next dimension as you would move up to. This is the sole purpose of our mission in visiting your dimension, is to help you to reach the realization that you can free yourself of these lower levels. We always come to you with the Father's love and the permission of His light of understanding for those who are open and ready to receive the truth of His being that sometimes goes beyond comprehension of your language. We love you greatly and want only that which is for your best overall soul enhancement. There are times when you seem to make it difficult for your physical self, but know this, my beloveds, you have chosen to descend to these lower levels to garner the lessons and growth they offer. You may not remember choosing or agreeing to come to such a place as this to learn, but you are here, and to make the stay on this planet profitable to your soul, render unto the physical that which belongs to the physical, but render unto the God self of you that which is God. As I am quieting the physical to set it aside, let us all think of this circle as a circle of light that reaches up into the higher dimensions of divine love and light, and realize that each one here is as much a part of the channel as the one who speaks. My little ones, it is indeed a blessed privilege to bring to you the Father's love this evening and to be with you in this way. I want you to remember that we of these upper realms of love and light are always with you in spirit. If you could remember this and ask for our help more often, you would receive so much more. Remember, when you do ask, to be open, and when you ask, send God's love into the connection to make it much easier for you to receive. You see, my dear ones, the free will is so important that we cannot invade your free will. We love you dearly, and those who are making the effort to move upward in consciousness are very precious to us, and we wish to give to you all that you can receive. And if you will take a little more of your time that you call time each day, and remember that we are there with you, and send God's love to all those on these dimensions that are above and beyond the physical. Send God's love to all the universe, to all those in need and those who are searching and know not where to look. But as you travel this earth plane, let us travel it hand in hand. Our love for you is so great, and if you will but reach out in your mind, we will take your spiritual hand and help you over the rough places in the road. We know that there are times when you despair a little bit, and we are here to help you to understand and to give you the greater encouragement of God's love. His love is the substance of all that is, and that includes your physical body and your physical world, for it is you who have created your physical body and your physical world out of the substance of God's love. We do call it illusion, and it is not permanent, but it is still everything that exists comes from the substance of God's love. And we would have you to remember this, and to remember that as you walk this plane of dimness and frustration, try to give credit where credit is due. Try to evaluate your values and ask yourself, what is the most valuable thing to me? What is the most valuable thing while I am going through this incarnation? I tell you, my dear ones, the most valuable thing is to learn who you truly are and to accept that understanding and move higher in consciousness with the help of God's love and our assistance when you ask. You asked not often enough. We encourage you to remember our presence. And as you go to class and as you come to these Wednesday night classes, as you go to work, as you do the things that you do in the world, my dear ones, do it with love. Do everything as unto God. For in true reality there is nothing in the whole of creation but God and God's love. When you truly understand this, then you can truly be at peace. You can be relaxed and at peace in whatever you're doing. And if someone is upset around you, you need not take on their vibrations, but you know how to send God's love and allow this to occur and to release that individual and the situation to the Father. When you truly release something to God, you think not of it, for it is not there in your mind, and you go about doing whatever you're doing with love and tenderness and kindness and gentleness. There are very few who truly live the life of love on your planet. You are striving to, and we see this, and we know that you are doing the best that you can at the moment, and we give you credit for the growth that you have made. But we encourage you to remember that we are here to help you to move a little faster on the upward journey, to understand the real truth. We can give you light upon your path if you will allow us. And all you need do is ask. Ask for more understanding. Ask for light upon your path. Ask for God's love to heal your bodies and to give you the courage to follow through with whatever you're given to do. It matters not what your station in life is on this planet. It matters not to God or to us. But it does matter, my dear ones, to you how you handle it, how you live your life. It matters in your soul's growth, because when you live your life with love and understanding, and even though your physical self may not understand something or why something has happened, the way it has, your higher self does. The God within you knows all. And when you remember to reach inward, then you will find the way out. When you remember to live from within out, then you are on your way out of this dimension, up into a higher place that is much more beautiful and much easier to work with. You have chosen to come to this dimension, and some of you doubt this at times. Some of you wonder why that things happen to you as they do. My dear ones, remember that you do create your own life, your own reality as it is. You and you alone. God has given you life, and he gives you life force continually, constantly flowing it through you. But he does not interfere with your choices. He sees you as perfect and whole and complete as he created you. And he loves you with a love so great you cannot begin to understand, no matter what is happening in this life on the physical plane. He loves all equally, unconditionally. When you could know this, then you realize that you have many, many friends that may not have a physical body, but they are with you. And when you can ask for help, humble yourself, my dear ones, to ask for help. Realize that it is all around you at all times. And though things may not go as you would have them go, or as you think that they should go, my dear ones, they are going in the direction that you have put them in. And you are always where you belong. You are always where you should be, because your level of consciousness places you wherever you are. And this means that you have created the conditions around you. Some doubt this, and some do not want to look at it and see it. But it is true. And as you can accept it, then it makes the traveling this road much easier. Should we stop for a little while and allow you to ask questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Can you explain pain, physical pain, not an emotional or misunderstanding or why something's happened to you, but what purpose? I mean, actual physical pain to a body. What purpose that's serving, or what that's all about?
What was the one word that you're speaking that's not coming across? Physical what?
Physical pain.
Pain. Pain is a finger pointing to something that is out of place. Pain is saying you have missed the mark and you have gotten away from the path of light. When you have pain, it is an indication that something needs attention. Now, if you are far enough along in your soul's growth that you can allow yourself to shine God's light into this and meditate on it until you gain the understanding of what you have done in your thinking that has created this condition, then it is possible that you can overcome it by asking for help and raising your consciousness above it. Pain is an endurance that most on this plane go through to a lesser or greater degree. It is a guideline, you might say, and it gives you the opportunity to make corrections. For example, if you were to stick your finger in the fire and did not feel it, your finger would burn off and you would not know it. But the pain comes instantly and you jerk your finger away from the fire so that it is not damaged too much. And when you have pain in any part of your physical body, it is an indication that something needs correcting. This pain can come from the emotional body also. Those who are depressed, those who feel out of tune with life and are angry and upset with themselves and those around them, this is another kind of pain. And they need to understand what to do about this. Now, you are talking about physical pain. Would you care to elaborate more, or is this too personal?
No, not at all. I was watching a TV show about recapping different wars, different parts of World War II or Vietnam, etc. And certain parts about these camps that people were being tortured in, and pain, everything seemed to be motivated around a physical pain, and I guess that's where it was coming from. I didn't understand what this was serving, what the person was to get out of being physically abused. And
sometimes it is a karmic indebtedness. Sometimes it is we place ourselves in a situation like this to test ourselves, and it is not too wise to do this, to place yourself in this kind of a situation just to test yourself, unless you are far along the road in your soul's growth. Almost always, this kind of thing is a karmic indebtedness, and it is not a punishment. Karma is not a punishment, as you understand this. Karma is a learning tool. It is understanding. And in your sayings, you have a saying, the pain and pleasure cycle. And you see, my dear ones, I have told you many times that there is no such thing as duality, as good and evil, as time and space, or pain and pleasure. But this, when you have pleasure, you set the dial. When you overindulge in pleasure, let me make this clear. When you overindulge in pleasure, you set the dial within yourself to bring about pain. And so you cannot have one without the other in these lower dimensions. Now, when you ascend to another higher dimension, when you are finished with all the lessons on this physical plane and do not have to reincarnate again, you will not have to go through this thing that you call pain. There is pain on the planes of darkness that most people think of as hell or purgatory. But on the planes of love and light, you are finished with this game, you might say, of duality. And what you are truly asking me about is the concept of duality, because pain is an answer or a repercussion of overindulgence in pleasure. Does this help your understanding?
Yes, it does.
Mhm. There is much more that can be said about this, but I feel at this time this is maybe enough unless someone else has another question about it.
I do. I have another question about it. This was brought up. And that is, there were a number of quote-unquote saints that used pain to reach spiritual levels of their own being. Could you talk about that a little?
Yes, this is a mistake, as you would call it. It does not bring soul's growth. To wear the hair shirt or to use the whip on yourself is a mental out of balance situation. There are those who do enjoy pain because they have had pain so long that they have nothing else to take pleasure or joy in. And so they learn to take pleasure in their pain. And this is a large trap and difficult sometimes to get away from. It will take a lot of light and understanding to get out of this trap. Those who indulge in pain to receive pleasure are going against the law of life. There is no such thing as good or evil, remember, but they are going against the current of life. And by going against the current of life, you set up the conditions for it to return again and again. Does this help your understanding?
I need to ask a little further.
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking particularly of, like you said, the hair shirt. I'm thinking particularly of those who would whip themselves or beat themselves and then develop spiritual awareness or even psychic awareness by location. The ability to ecstasy would be some of it, spiritual ecstasy, some of it the ability to know things that they would not have known otherwise, the ability to bless other people's lives with new and great understanding, and yet they found themselves doing these other things, and they saw it as part of their penance to bring forth this spiritual part of their lives. I always found that very strange to me, the way I conceive life. But
Yes, it is not exactly true in the sense of truth that you can torture yourself to the degree that you leave your body or partly leave your body and can have some psychic or hallucination experiences, or you may tune in to some truth by doing this. But there is a much better way. This is not the best way to do this. And the one who does it will have to pay the penalty, and this is the wrong words to use, but it is your language that we have to deal with. But you see, you set into motion by punishing yourself. You're going against the grain of life. And when you go against the grain of life, you have to have the opposite to help you to understand. And you bring the pain back again and again. And those who receive pleasure from it are in a very large trap, because that is what they know, and they indulge in it to the degree that that is almost all that they know.
thank you.
Yes.
Can I ask a further question if it is related? the pain that accompanies childbirth, how should we look at that? And especially if it were an immaculate conception that then caused pain.
Pain is a concept in your language, and for one who has pain, an experience that brings pain, the same experience could bring pleasure to another. In your understanding, you can conjure up pain from your imagination. Imagination is the creative force, and you can create pain where there need not be any pain. You see, in childbirth, women are taught from very early age that it is very painful in your culture, and especially in the past. In other cultures, it is not taught that childbirth is painful. And so there is a change in the body, and the body has to open up to bring forth the child. But it need not be such a painful thing. It is the mind that creates most of the pain and the fear of pain. When we can release the fear of pain, there need not be pain. There is adjustment. There are adjustments, but it need not be labeled as pain. When you go through your growth in your childhood, maybe some of you remember having pain in your body, and at least what you call pain, and you were told that it is growing pains, and it is your body adjusting to a larger size, and it need not be labeled as pain. You see, when you are conditioned to think of something as pain, then it is pain to you. But another individual could be conditioned to think of it as pleasure, and it could be pleasure to them. This is the mind playing tricks upon you. And when you allow yourself to be programmed in this way, then it is what you have been programmed. But you can change the programming, as much of you know, and this is why you're coming to this center, is to bring about enlightenment of the truth and re-education of the mind to know the truth, and the truth sets you free. Does this help your understanding?
Yes, thank you. I hope we haven't gotten too far off the main subject, but thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
He seemed to be staying on this subject, but it seems like one thought brings another one. And that is, I have a friend, just commenting on what you just said, I have a friend who was very ill with a major illness. And because of that illness and the pain that she was under with that illness, she began to develop the ability to work with her mind. And the more she worked with her mind, the less she was to feel pain. And as she continues to do that, she's at the point now where she could cut her, it has become to such a point that she can cut her finger. And if she does not see the blood flowing, she doesn't realize she's cut it. Because she
Yes.
eliminated the feeling of pain throughout her body.
Yes, and this is not a balance. You can be out of balance in anything, and in this condition you can be out of balance. As I first said, pain is a finger pointing that something needs correcting, but there are many different situations where pain is experienced, and some of it is unnecessary. But if you learn to turn off the pain in your body to that degree, then it can be dangerous for your physical body as you think of danger. and unhealthy for you. Yes. When you go to your doctor or to your healer, they ask you your symptoms, and through the symptoms they diagnose the problems, and in the diagnosis you receive some treatment. But if you did not have a discomfort, let us call it something different, a discomfort, and could tell the healer or the doctor what is going on, then the diagnosis may not be correct. There is much illness on your plane at this time. You have advanced technologically in your medical field more than you have in the last 100 years. You have advanced in many, many ways, more than you have in all of your known history. But you see, there are more individuals ill at this time than any other time in your known history. And the reason for this is that you are coming into the physical to eliminate the misunderstandings about life, or to eliminate the karma. And so you purposely are setting this up so that it will come to you and that you will learn the lesson. If you do learn the lesson, then you will not have to go through the experience again. There are those who are ill and find themselves with a dis-ease, and they accept it as something that needs correcting in their thinking, in their spiritual life. And when they make the effort to make the correction and do not fight it or strain at it so much and realize the truth about it, and even if they go through the experience you call death, then that is finished. But when they are fearful and when they do not handle it in a very good way, it is possible that they would have to come back and go through the same experience again. And you could call this ignorance. Lack of understanding is a better way to say it. But there are many, many different things, because each one of you are an individual, different than anyone else. And so when you judge yourself, and I want you to know that you are the one, you are the only one that judges yourself, or should be. We do not judge you. The lords of karma help you to understand and shine light into the different things to help you to see the truth, but they do not judge you either. But when you're adding up 2 and 2 and getting 5, you're coming out with the wrong answer. And as long as you do this, no matter how far advanced in your arithmetic or mathematics, you're still coming out with the wrong answer. And so it is with your pain and with your dis-ease. When you do not understand it, when you do not correct it in the mind and in the spirit, then it will return and have to come again and again until you awaken to the truth. This may seem a bitter potion to some of you, but it is necessary that you understand the laws of life, and it is necessary that you do this to move higher in consciousness and be free of these lower realms, the only realms that know the experience of pain. Are there other questions this evening?
Yes. I have wanted to help a child, and I started a while ago, and they sent me a picture of a child and said, now this is a child you'll help, Well, instead of paying for just month by month, I sent them a whole year's payment. And they must have gotten pretty, thought I was kind of loose with my money. So they changed the child, and I didn't like the idea at all, so I stopped it. I didn't think it looked very honest. So then I tried it again with another group, and this time they said, well, you can write to the child, but you can't call her by her name. Well, that didn't sit well with me. I didn't feel good about it. I wouldn't have been comfortable. And yet I felt I shouldn't, I felt I wanted to stop it, but I felt I shouldn't stop it. But I asked my senior partner, God within me, and he said, stop it. So I stopped it. But then I felt all mixed up and guilty. And my joy just seemed to seep away because I wasn't organized somehow. I was blaming myself. But I don't think that you can get a good relationship unless you can call a person by their name.
Do not be concerned about this, my dear one, and try to release the concern and the guilt. You, with love, have reached out to help. If someone has taken advantage of this, that is their problem and not yours. And your giving has blessed you if you will give unconditionally. And doubt not. You see, when you give with doubts, you can cause things like this to happen. I'm not saying that you did doubt, but be not concerned. When you decide to give unconditionally.
But if you can't talk, if you can't use a person's name, it's like writing to a block of wood, and that would, I don't see it. I can't feel
Yes.
anything. I don't feel I'm doing any good at all. I mean, and another thing, when I asked my senior partner for advice, and I get it, I dare not change that, even though I think I'm being selfish. I've got to follow what that inner self tells me, because if I don't, I'm in trouble.
This is correct, and you should follow that inner guidance always. But do not blame yourself. This is what I am saying. Try to release this to God and send love into it, and turn.
All people concerned.
Yes, that is right.
Thank you.
Those, if someone has taken advantage and pocketed the money, as you might say, then that is a lesson that they are learning, and they need your love as much as the child needs your love. We are all in the same boat, my dear ones, you might say, because there is only one life in the whole of creation. And as we go through these experiences on these lower realms, we experience things that are distorted and very difficult to understand. But as this dear one has said, go within. This is where you will find the answers. This is where you will gain the understanding. Are there other questions this evening?
There's another thing I was thinking about. You know that the cocoon turns into the butterfly, and it seems to me that corresponds to the materialistic person changing into a born-again person, and I think that's on the agenda for everybody eventually. Is this right?
This is correct. God's love will eventually pull everyone up. But he has given you free will, and he gives you as long as you want to learn the lessons on these lower dimensions. But eventually his love will pull you up above this, because his love is what you are made of. And you see, when you are created out of a substance like God's love, then you will respond to it when your timing is right. When you have learned all the lessons that you need to learn on these lower dimensions. Outside of these lower dimensions, there is no such thing as time. And eternity is here and now, both the past and the future, as some of you are learning. And this is difficult for you to understand. But remember that you are only playing a role on this plane. You're going through this experience to learn and to grow. And as long as you are moving forward, as long as you are making the attempts to grow, you are growing. And sometimes just being here in the physical brings about growth. Spending a lifetime in the physical without much happening in your life can bring about growth just by being in the physical. You who have reached out to learn and to grow are very fortunate indeed, for you are moving forward much more rapidly. And let me tell you this, my dear ones, you are pioneers in this new age, and you are spearheading ahead to help those that will come after you, and you are making imprints in the ethers that will help them with the understanding that they need to move forward more quickly. Are there other questions this evening?
Yes, I have another question.
Yes.
You just mentioned about being pioneers and leaving imprints in the ethers that makes it easier for the people that follow. Could you explain what exactly that means, leaving imprints?
Yes, it is difficult to put it into your language, but I will attempt to. You see, everything that happens in life is recorded, is automatically photographed on what you know as the Akashic records. And let me give you an example. If 200 years from now you are in another incarnation and someone were to hypnotize you and regress you back to this time, you could see and tell everything that everyone that is here and all that has been said, because it is indelibly imprinted into the ethers. It is the book of life, and it is also in the memory banks on your soul memory. So when you go through this incarnation with love in your heart, and the light shines much brighter, and this leaves the records for those who come after you, and their sensitive bodies, the other higher dimension bodies, feel this, and it brings down to their conscious awareness greater understanding than when you went through the experience. Each generation now is a little higher in consciousness, except those who are coming in who are still in darkness. But this will discontinue in a little while. But now, those of you who are studying, who are learning, who are understanding, you leave the records. It is like someone who writes a textbook for your colleges, for your universities, and they have learned something, such as Einstein, and he has written this material down and left it for those who come after him to have this greater understanding. It is the same, for it is truly there in the ethers, even though your physical eyes cannot see it, and maybe your physical senses do not sense it. Your other senses do, and they will bring it to the conscious awareness of those who come after you, making it much easier for them. Does this help your understanding?
Yeah, the way you explained it about somebody leaving their book behind was,
Yes.
said it right there.
It is the same. It is making records. It is recording. And when one trips over a stone and does not remove the stone, then someone else can trip over it. But if he removes the stone from the path, then it makes it easier for the others. And it is the same whenever you go through your schools and the textbooks that you read. Those who have learned and moved higher in understanding, and each year your textbooks are changed, or most of them are, and there is greater understanding, is there not? And so this is the way with what you are doing. You are bringing forth from within the center of your being the God understanding while you are still in the physical and leaving this imprint in the ethers.
Do you think we are teaching our students to think more than they used to think when they were in school? I doubt if our educational system is this better than it used to be. I think that there are people who are far advanced than they used to be, but they're individuals. The general masses of people are just taking life pretty easy, it seems to me, here in this country.
Yes, you cannot tell by surface view, my dear one, and your educational system will change rapidly in a few years and be altogether different. Whenever you bring forth more senses than what you think of as the five senses, you will be able to educate your children in a much different way. And know this, my dear ones, that there will come a day when you will learn from the offspring that you bring forth instead of you teaching them, for they will bring the memory of their understanding with them, and they will be higher in consciousness than you. This day is just around the corner, and look forward to it, for it is a beautiful time in your history. It has been my privilege to be with you, and I give you each one the Father's blessing and ask you to receive it unto your heart and into your mind and into your understanding that you are reaching for. And remember, as we said, ask for help more often. Reach out to us, for we are always there. And though you may be confused about whether you've received the answers, if you continue to reach out in your thoughts, you will develop the ability to know when you receive the answers. God bless you, my dear ones, each one, and good evening. Shall we hold hands? And think of coming together in the physical as we have been in spirit, and let us bring the spiritual and the physical together as one and the same, for in true reality there is no division except in our concept. Let us be grateful for the Master who has brought us the blessings this evening, and open our hearts to assimilate the truths that he has brought forth. And let us remember to ask for help more often, to reach out, or should we say, to reach inward, and ask for the love of God to help us to move forward and higher in consciousness. Let us think of God while going around this circle in great abundance, filling this room, spreading out over this city, covering this planet, and moving out into all the universe. A circle is this, when you are open to care, to receive God's love and to give it out. It can be multiplied many, many times. And let us send God from heaven into this week, into our every thought, word, and deed, into every situation and every encounter. Thank you, Father. While I think of it, I want to remind everyone there could be people here.
Thing. Oh, you're okay. No, I don't know where holidays I know you've done it. What do you want to remind yourself? I don't know.
Find it all on the good side.
In the two, where you stand.
I like one.
Collage on anthem.
I thought I like Daisy out of order.
Why? Yeah. Or could I be bringing him?
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
We had a lot of state data.
And when the race work, there'll be two of them kind of
I knew. I was like, they got the end.
It's my book.
Yeah, they do. Other.
My Bible meaning earlier 3 years ago. Well, what the tobacco and probably board and market committee. Have you met?
No, I give up and met her. I know her. Is it like, oh, Andy, how are you? I'm
he's in here.
I need for you to win you. I ordered. Kind of look at my kid's bag. But she got that. Yeah.
Another 5 high.
And we are very eager to get into that. Oh, I'm she allows you to finish there.
This is
So I
great.
we're calling her at 5. She works in Collage. Give me well, I said, oh, yeah, the name person encouraged her. I'll be all that go. I'm glad. Cleaner out of it. Still big, actually. I feel like it should be fun, but you're not becoming a meeting. I don't think down there to have all the building. But it's going to stop them again more. We said things about everyone.
That's all right.
That's a quite thing.
Somebody like the room. Well, I had your attention.
Good, Abel.
Annabelle, while I had your attention. June the 6th will change to 7:30. Do you like that?
Sure. Yeah.
And we're not going to have a mail out this summer, so there may be somebody who come at 8:30 and be disappointed. So anybody you know that's coming reminds them that it's June is the first Wednesday of next month. Well, change over.
7:30, Mike.
Okay.
Starting June the
Yeah, and Donnie asked that we tell everyone we know.
Hell, do it. Daughter, show up.
Remember long ago.
I'm fine.
Let me introduce myself. Bill Harland.
Happy.
Hi, Children.
I'm trying. Sure, you know, certain things here.
I was really bothered and like that. Because I ordered in Palo, it's vibrant, I read it, I thought that I was ready if there's something going to be out of me. That's cool. And you don't get it mixed up later on.
Thank you. That you help them.
Somebody
I just was
They used to show very good pride and wasn't with you very much like that.